One amazing woman has given her life to fighting violence against women. I'm so honored to be joined by Sunitha Krishnan. Why did you dedicate your life to this cause?
My journey to understand sex crimes and sex trafficking started as a survivor of sexual assault myself. I was gang raped at the age of 15, and that incident kind of gave direction to my life. I, for the first time, understood what isolation means because of stigma and ostracization. I, for the first time, understood what it is to be shamed and traumatized for a crime that you have not committed. And for 2 years, I was ostracized in my community, in my family, for being subjected to a violation on my body. And that made me kind of think about other victims around me. And for some strange reason, I never felt like a victim. And maybe that bothered many people too, that I was not crying or I was not, behaving like a typical victim. What I was constantly conspiring in my mind was how do I convert this isolation into a transformative experience for others.
And being a 15-year-old girl and something that traumatic happens, how do you put the pieces emotionally, physically back together if you're in an isolated space?
Strangely, I think my life is a providence, and I believe that I was brought to this world for this work, and that is why I seem to have the inner reserves, inner resources to, work with my energy and my thing. And one of the first things that I realized is that there's a huge amount of power inside me. If I'm going to depend on people outside me for strength, for understanding, for compassion, for empathy, I'm not going to get it. I need to look into myself and depend on my reserve of energy and power. And what I realized is the power I possess has got far greater reach and far greater transformative value in terms of channelizing my pain into something very concrete. And it happened automatically, and that is why I feel my life was a providence. I didn't have anybody mentoring me or guiding me or counseling me or providing me that support.
How has this changed or transformed or influenced your view on men?
Interestingly, I'm blessed that I had some of the most influential men in my life. My father was one such man, meaning it took me a lot of years to understand his compassion and empathy, because he was one person during my whole ordeal who remained silent, allowed me to behave the way I wanted to behave and do what I wanted to do. Because just imagine at the age of 15, you've just undergone a very traumatic experience, and then you start talking about sex crimes all over you, and you start talking about women sold for prostitution, and people don't like it, and people say, look at her, she hasn't learned anything from her mistake, and she's just going, bizarre. And in that situation, it was my father who kept silent, and in silence he supported my decisions. And it took me a long while to understand that. But having said that, I was blessed also with friends like Brother Jose, who became a co-founder with me when I started Prajwala, and today Rajesh, my husband, who was. So these are men who taught me there's something very beautiful about men. But I every day see brutality inflicted by men.
You have rapists sending you videos of them raping women. Mm-hmm. Your own life has been threatened many times. How do you personally handle that fear, or does it give you more strength? And what do you do when you receive these sorts of videos?
Actually, it was not the rapist who sent me the videos. These videos apparently were in circulation for many years, and for more than 9 years. And it happened that one of the men who was in a sensitization program that I had conducted, got 2 such videos, and then he informed me and said, "Okay, madam, meaning there are 2 videos that I have received by WhatsApp, and can you just see it?" And when I saw it, I was shocked. Meaning for more than 20 seconds, it was nauseating. Actual untampered rape video, meaning real rape video. 5 men raping a girl, and what was very striking and scary, if I would say, was the laugh on the men's face and the way they were gloating about the crime they were committing, and they were actually posing with the cameras. Okay, come this side and come this. There's 5 of them. Somebody is masturbating. Another one is, telling how to do this on the girl. The girl is screaming and shouting. For 20 years, I have been rescuing girls from prostitution. And I have rescued over 12,000 girls out of prostitution and sexual slavery. I see these girls dying a million deaths every day, out of shame, out of pain, out of rejection, and out of guilt of a crime that they never committed, And at the same time, you have these hundreds and thousands of men who have bought them. The girls are as young as 9, 10, 11 years old. And they buy them, they use them, they rape them, and they don't have any shame or guilt about it. Maybe it was the pent-up anger of the 20 years that kind of took shape of this campaign, the Shame the Rapist campaign. And I said, enough is enough. Now I have to expose these guys and
so did you go and find them?
Actually, what I did is I started a campaign the very next day. It was on February 4th, 2015 that I got this video, and February 5th on social media and on Facebook I started a campaign called as Shame the Rapist campaign. I grabbed pictures of these men from the videos, posted it on Facebook and said, "These are rapists. They are posting the rape videos on WhatsApp. Help me identify them. Let's talk to the government."
And did you?
I did it. Within couple of hours after I started the campaign, my vehicle was vandalized. I started receiving death threats, and I started receiving very, very filthy pornographic mails, which would be like filled with dirty pictures all over, and the text would be, "I do this with a 10-year-old child, I do this with a 12-year-old child, and I would like to do this with you too, are you ready?" kind of thing, and actually give their address. So it's like, catch me if you can. And then I went to the government with the videos, and they had nothing, no reaction. I waited for more than 10 days, and it is so funny that this coincided with India's daughters controversy at the same time.
So you planned it with
absolutely,
with Leslie.
And it was so ironic. Here a convicted rapist was speaking something, then people were making a hue and cry about that. Parliament was talking about this is not Indian culture and blah blah blah. And here your India's sons, you're talking about India's daughter, but your India's sons are actually raping women and children and posting the rape videos on WhatsApp, and you don't want to be outraged about it. Finally, I had to go to the Supreme Court, and hope is still alive in this world, because Supreme Court took it suo moto, and it directed the Central Bureau of Investigation to investigate on these rape videos. And in 1 week's time, 2 men were arrested out of the 40 people, and both the men were from well-to-do families and real estate businessmen.
Gosh.
Their rape videos were circulating for more than 5 years, and right now more than 8 of them have been identified. So this Shame the Rapist campaign is one of its kind across the world, meaning nobody has done something like this. And every day now I'm getting rape videos from all over the world, from United States, from different parts of the world. So I don't think it's just about India and about an Indian story. I think
it's a global
story.
What do you think that every woman should ask herself today? What question?
I think one of the very fundamental question that every woman should ask herself is, what is her silence bringing herself to? Do we realize that it is in our silence that we perpetuate impunity? Do we realize that it is in our silence that we encourage perpetrators to flourish? Today they do not only abuse you, violate you, they flaunt that act. They show it to the world as if they have done something great. And to a large extent, I would hold women responsible for it, because they don't speak up. It is still, a taboo to open up your story, and you feel as if the world will crash on you if you disclose what has happened to you. You surely will do it, if not for your generation, but for the coming generation, because it is our silence that has given such an environment of impunity today.
What is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
I received that from my father, and I think it's an advice. I wouldn't say advice. It's just a statement that has carried me. Let not anybody else be your certifying person. You have to certify yourself, and end of the day, you have to look into your eyes and say you're good. Don't wait for what that person thinks or this person thinks about you. Only think about what you think about yourself. So long as you have faith in yourself, you understand your strength and you optimize it, and you believe in what you can change, I think everything is fine.
Sunitha Krishnan, thank you so much. You're really doing some amazing work, really amazing. Thank you.